come out here and find your hot water tank. It's going to have a rod in it, or it's going to have a plug in it. If you got a Suburban, it's going to have an anno rod in it. If you have the Atwood, it's going to have a plastic plug in it. In order to drain this, you want to hit this pop-off valve right here. What that's going to do is release the pressure that's behind this rod or the plug that's in there. If you do not, this is going to come shooting out at you like somebody shot you. Hurts. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to release this here, take this out. If you're using this here, it takes 1 1/16 socket to take it out. If you're using the plug, it takes a 3/4 inch socket. Sometimes you can get that on there, sometimes you cannot. If not, get you a pair of channel locks to take that thing out of there. What you want to do is just leave this laying here. Put your cap back, your cover back on here, and go ahead and flip this back down and let the pressure off. Go ahead and put that back on. You're done here as far as the outside goes. Your fresh water tank is right here on this one. So what you want to do is go down here and make sure you open this valve up, drain all the water out that's in it, and leave the valve open. What that'll do is most of your tanks are beveled. Not all the water is going to come out of there. So just leave it open. A little bit freezes up, so it's not going to expand enough to bust your tank. Right, we've been there. In this case here, everything else is on this side here, so what I've done is just went ahead and got it out, ready to do. City water's right here. What I did here was I took out the screen, which has got you got a plunger back in here. We're going to come back out in a little bit and take care of that also. This is probably one of the most things that is forgotten to do, is to hit this right here, and you're going to replace it next year, because it will freeze up on you. Yeah. Alright, we're going inside next, if you guys will follow me. Alright, I pulled this unit in because this unit is not real easy as far as kick a pump on, there it is, there it is. In this case, this one here is kind of hidden, so that's why I brought one in to where you could see that it's not always easy to get to. A lot of them, you just got to open the door up and move a panel. Your hot water tank and your pump's going to be right there. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the back side of that hot water tank, which we just drained out there. You got valves on it. Some of them have 1, some have 2, some have 3. It just depends on how they felt the day they plumbed it up on you. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk back here to the bedroom, which is where this hot water tank's located at. Alright, in this case here, the hot water tank access is going to be in that little hole right up there. So if you guys can come in, you can kind of see it. I do have this up. Let's see, we can probably put that down, Zach.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, see the little hole right there?
No.
Okay, step on in here. There's enough room. Alright, the little hole up there had this little piece of paneling on it with 4 screws to it. What that's going to do is give you access to that hot water tank. On this hot water tank, there's 2 valves. So I've got those 2 valves turned to where they're not facing the hot water tank. When you do that, that bypasses that hot water tank so that there's no antifreeze going into it. You do not want antifreeze in your hot water tank. If you do make a mistake and put it in there, it's no big deal. All you're going to have to do is flush it out next year and get your antifreeze out of there. Alright, so that's the access to your pump. If you want to come up here once I step out and look down in there, you can do so. Let's see the back side of the hot water tank where the valves are at. Alright, the next thing you want to do is locate your pump, and on this one here, this pump is located right here in the front. You can see the back side of it right there. On this on this pump here, it does have the winterization bypass kit on it, meaning that it does have a hose that come out here and go down into your jug. In this case here, that's as long as that hose is. So I've got a made up hose here that I use, which ties into the one that's already on the pump going into my jug here. Okay, I've also went ahead and run a little antifreeze to make sure it's going to work. So I'm not sitting here telling you I got to change the pump out or something. All right, so anyway, you've got this hooked. At the end of this line right here, which is your bypass line, there's a valve there. That valve does need to be in line with this hose in order for this to suck the antifreeze up out of here. Most of the time they are in the off position. Any questions on any of this? I know you can't really see it. If you want to step over here, you're more than welcome to do so once I get out of the way. You can look back in here and see the pump. If you want to step up here and look down in the hole, you can do so. You can see the lines coming into the hot water tank.
Cut the pump on the bathroom there?
Do what now?
Cut the pump on at the bathroom switch.
That's where we're going to go now, is
Oh, I'm
find
sorry.
the pump
I'm
switch.
sorry.
You're fine. No dumb questions, just ask, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to
Right there's
step
a
out.
mechanical pump.
This is on your, yeah, this is your pump that comes with your unit.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, after you've hooked up to your pump, you want to come to each one of your faucets here. Turn them on one at a time. Do your hot or your cold first. Shut it back off. Make sure you get plenty of antifreeze out there. That way you know you don't have any water left in your line. Come over and hit your other side. Let it run. Close it back off. And then you're finished with your sink area. Get finished with your sink. You want to come into your bathroom area. Come to your commode. Hit your pedal on that or your pull handle, whichever you may have. Get your antifreeze running out of there. Alright, now I'm going to come over to my shower next. I'm going to do my cold one at a time. Then I'm going to come over and hit my hot. I'm going to shut that back off. Then I'm going to come over to my sink here and make sure you get plenty down in here. Now your sinks and your showers do have traps in them, so you want to make sure you get enough down in here. That way those traps get full. Once you see the pink, you're good to go. This one here actually has an outside spray port hooked up to the sink area here with the outside stove on it. So you just want to come here, and this one here, it's got a quick connect on it, which I've got connected up. Just give it a spray there. This doesn't have hot and cold, it just has one. But if you do have one that has hot and cold, you want to make sure you do one side and then do the other side. All right, we're going to come back around here to where the outside shower is and the outside steady hookup. What's that now? It's just rubbered in there, just push it off. Sometimes you can take a little skinny screwdriver or something if you can't get it with your finger. Alright, what we're going to do now, is we're going to run your outside shower. Alright, another thing too, you can hear the pump, it kicks on every time you turn it on. It also shuts off. If it pulsates, meaning it'll say after you shut one off, if it sits there and goes boom, 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 that means you got a leak in that line coming to whatever you're actually doing here. If you do, then you'll need to trace that down, see where your leak's at. Hear the pump shut off? Okay, that indicates that I have no leaks coming to this. All right, so you'll need to move. You might need to move that way just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this plunger. What it's going to do is it's going to shoot antifreeze straight out here, okay? All right, in order to do your city water, you'll need to go inside and turn your pump off. Go to one of your faucets, sink, bathroom, whatever, and open it up. What you're going to do is you're going to let the pressure off of that line, which is going to let you come here and hit this plunger. Otherwise, this plunger is really stiff, and I can't push it in right now. So I'm going to cheat. Instead of going in doing the shut the pump off, turn it on, I can do it right here by turning this back on. What that's doing is that's letting the pressure off to where this plunger will actually go in. Okay, didn't mean to get your feet wet.
That's okay.
All right, so you make sure that you do that. If you don't, you're going to replace this next year. This is your city water intake. You guys can step back over this way if you want.
What are you going to replace?
The city water intake. The whole thing has to come with that.
I'm just gonna be here. Say that again.
Do I now?
Now, what did you say about that being?
If you do not push this in and let that antifreeze come out of here, this is your city water. This is how you're feeding it.
Okay.
This will freeze up. This is one of the things that we do replace a lot of next year because it wasn't winterized. Everybody comes.
Even though the self-contained was antifreezed, the city inlet wasn't.
Right.
So you got to back.
You got to back pressure it to it. Alright, then you put your screen back in there. And this unit is now winterized for the winter, okay? Just make sure you get plenty. Don't be stingy with the antifreeze. I mean, doesn't cost that much. If you got to use an extra gallon, do it. I mean, you got an investment here, which is a lot more than those jugs of antifreeze are. Okay? It's like changing your oil and only putting 3/4 in instead of 5. Put it in there. Okay, so anyway, we're done outside. Now, if you'll follow me back inside, I'm going to show you how to disconnect on it. Alright, now if you did not have that outside shower out there where you could actually turn that on and hit your plunger, what you would want to do is come in here and shut this pump off. Go to the sink and open up one side of it. And what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and let that antifreeze out, which is actually taking the pressure off of your city intake. Then this is where you need 2 people. You need to go back outside. That plunger is going to be free now, so you can push it in. Holler back inside and have the person kick the pump back on. That's going to start shooting that antifreeze out as it did out there a while ago. It's kind of impossible to do it by yourself. Okay, so what I've done now, just to finish this up, is I've come in and shut the pump off, drained that off, and I hit my city on the outside. Now the unit is fully winterized. Okay. Zach, would you go back here to the sink and go ahead and just turn, or somebody just turn those on again? Go ahead and get us a little more antifreeze through there. That'll work. And the other side, okay. Alright, so now this one is fully winterized, okay? Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the hose and get it out of our antifreeze jug and close this up for the winter here. So what you want to do, is come to your hose here. You're going to have some antifreeze in the line here. A lot of times it's going to be a lot more than what's in here right now. But what you can do before you disconnect this is go to your pump and kick it on. What it's going to do is it's going to suck the rest of this out of your line so you don't make a big mess here on the floor. Otherwise, if you got a towel like I do, you can go ahead and make the mess and wipe it up. Alright, the ones that do have a cap that you can put back on the end of this bypass hose. Once you get it back on there, go back to your pump there where you turn this valve to let it feed through this, and go ahead and turn it back the way that it's not in line with this here. That way when you get ready to set it up next year, you just hook your water to it. You don't have to come in here and look for the valve.
So turn the valve back on.
Turn the valve, actually going to be turning the valve back off, so to speak.
Back off?
Yeah, right now I had it open, so what we're going to do is we're going to shut it.
Feeder valve.
That's the only valve under there.
Alright, now if anybody wants to come over here and look before I shut this down, I'll give you my flashlight here where you can actually look back in there.
I want to look there and down.